What's going on with ya, big dog? And it is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh! I hope that your day, phenomenal. But if it isn't, don't let what happened at the beginning of your day ruin the rest of your day. Voiceless Voice is one of the new strategies that is coming out in Master Duel. And today, big dogs, I'm going to be breaking down everything you need to know about this particular strategy and how to counter it. Me and Chad are going to be talking about the strengths and weaknesses and everything in between. So let's go ahead and jump on in. In case you didn't know, Voiceless Voice is a ritual-based Yu-Gi-Oh deck focused around Skull Guardian. Please, whatever you do, do not play Skull Guardian in your deck. Skull Guardian is the OG. I'm sick, my brother. In case you guys didn't know, this deck is focused around low prayers of the Voiceless Voice, and it can be treated as an entire ritual summon for the ritual summon of a light, warrior, or dragon monster. This is the best card of the deck, as also when it's normal summoned, it allows you to place a Voiceless Voice spell or trap card from your deck to your side of the field. Then also, if you special summon a light warrior or a light dragon ritual monster, you can summon this card from the graveyard. The reason why this is incredibly important is because your good Voiceless Voice monsters need low on the field to be able to operate. A lot of people would think that, yo, you can affect Valor Infinite Impermanence. Well, that's where Saravis the Ancient and Ascendant comes in. Anytime one of your monsters is targeted, you can discard this card to negate the activation. But what a lot of people don't know is that it is a light dragon monster that you can summon to your side of the field and can also negate the summon of monsters by returning it to the hand. This is really handy for Voiceless Voice as it is a monster that's easy to summon, easy to search, fairly searchable, and just overall a really good card. The other ritual monster that is commonly played is Skull Guardian, Protector of the Voiceless Voice. You don't play this Skull Guardian, guys. You play this Skull Guardian. This card gains 2050 attack when low is on the field, and then if your opponent activates a card effect, you can negate that effect. It also allows you to add one Voiceless Voice monster or one ritual that's a warrior or dragon from your deck to your hand when it is summoned. This is easily the boss monster of the deck. See, the theme of this deck is to be able to summon Skull Guardian the Protector by using low, and then getting low back to your side of the field. You're also going to use your spell and trap cards to help you get rid of your opponent's resources. Now, another light dragon that they tend to play is Odd Eye's Pendulum Breif Dragon, because it just so happens to be a monster that can be searched and summoned with Voiceless Voice. It does have the effect to allow you to negate an opponent's spell or spell effect, which is really, really cool, allowing you to step cards like Lightning Storm, which can be really good against the deck. Now, for the ritual monsters that you can play inside of this deck, if you want to play Saphira, Divine Dragon of the Voiceless Voice, this card isn't necessarily bad, it's just not a great card. Then there's also the other Saphira, Queen of Dragons. This card's not good either. The only ritual monster that you should be focusing on in your deck is Saravis, Skull Guardian, and maybe the Pendulum Graph. Now, the next most important thing about this deck is the spells and trap cards. The spell and trap cards are crazy. The ritual spell card, Prayers of the Voiceless Voice, allows you to be able to ritual summon. It also allows you to banish it from the graveyard to summon Saravis, Saphira, or Skull Guardian from your hand, ignoring its summoning conditions. It's pretty decent. This is going to be the only ritual spell card that you play, and ironically, since it does mention Saravis, and it also mentions Skull Guardian, it also means you can play Pre-Preparation of Rites and easily search the monsters that you need. It's a big reason why you don't need to play a huge ritual engine, because cards like Pre-Preparation of Rites get you exactly what you need. But the most important part of this deck is its continuous spells and trap cards, specifically Barrier of the Voiceless Voice. Barrier of the Voiceless Voice says while you control low Prayers of the Voiceless Voice in a light ritual monster, your opponent's monsters can only target ritual monsters for attacks, completely protecting your low. Also, your opponent cannot target light monsters you control with card effects, which makes it even more dangerous. Also, during your main phase, it can add one Voiceless Voice card or Skull Guardian ritual monster from your deck to your hand, except Barrier for the Voiceless Voice. So this card gives you protection on all of your monsters on your side of the field and can continuously add resources. A mandatory must play 3 of, and unfortunately, I think this will also be the ultra rare for Voiceless Voice. The next trap card is Radiance of the Voiceless Voice, which I've seen players play 1 ofs, I've seen players play 2 ofs. It says during the main phase, you can shuffle 1 light ritual monster, warrior or dragon, or ritual spell card from your hand or graveyard into the deck. And if you do, add to your hand or special summon Voiceless Voice monster from your deck. It also allows you to target cards up to the number of light ritual monsters you control and destroy this card and as many of those cards. It's essentially your Icarus attack, but it's also a way to get you your Voiceless Voice monsters. And speaking of those, I think we probably should talk about the Voiceless Voice monsters, right? I kind of forgot about them. You have your Saphira, Queen Dragon of the Voiceless Voice that allows you to discard this card and send one ritual spell card from your deck to the graveyard to add one light ritual monster from your deck to your hand, giving you more searchability alongside of your pre-preparation of rites. Also, another cool thing about this effect is that it can actually ritual summon by banishing it in your graveyard, which is kind of cool. Next, we have Saravis, Dragon Sage of the Voiceless Voice, which allows you to special summon this card by shuffling 2 spell cards from your hand or graveyard back into your deck. So essentially, you get to recycle your Barrier and your Protector in case you want to use pre-prep or in case you want more cards inside of your deck. It also says when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can return this card from the field to the hand to special summon one light ritual monster from your hand or deck, but shuffle it into the deck during the end phase, which is kind of crazy. So Saravis allows you to get ritual monsters to your side of the field, and Saphira allows you to be able to ritual summon and search. The deck can be incredibly annoying, and if you thought that cards like Joel and Lockbird hurt, it kind of does, but it kind of doesn't. Like, take for example, if they use Saphira's effect and you droll them, well, a lot of times they can just use Saphira's effect to be able to ritual summon the card that they added, and since their board was already low to the ground, that's all they really needed. But when you combine it with other engines, the deck does get a little bit more powerful. We talked about the branded engine. Space mentioned should all Voiceless Voice, which could be a thing, but I think using cards like Diviner of Heralds to be able to send Traeus or Arceus, or being able to send Herald of Arclight from your extra deck to the graveyard can really work. Because tributing Diviner allows you to be able to special summon one level 2 or lower fairy monster from your deck, a la Low Prayers of the Voiceless Voice just so happens to be a target. You can also use Nadir Servant to be able to send cards like Herald of Arclight from your deck to the graveyard, but it also gets you Dogmatica Maximus, which allows you to peek your opponent's extra deck and get more cards into your graveyard so you can get more beneficial effects. I want you to think of cards like Garua to be able to draw cards, or Elder Entity Intis to be able to destroy cards on your opponent's side of the field. There's also the fake ritual monster in Dino Mundo. A lot of times, a Voiceless Voice player will link off into this card. It allows you to target a card on the field and a ritual monster in the graveyard and shuffle them back into the deck. But also, it allows you to tribute this card to target one ritual monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand or special summon it. That means if you special summon monsters like Skull Guardian back to your side of the field, it will trigger low again to summon itself and you get even more resources. I think that Voiceless Voice is going to be a solid deck, and ritual players are going to play the hell out of this strategy. It is their strongest ritual deck since Drytron, but just like any other Yu-Gi-Oh strategy, it has its fair set of counters. The Bestial Monsters and DD Crow are really good against this deck. You ever want any targets? Banish the low in the graveyard. It really does mess up their strategy, and if they can't get to another one, they're cooked. Forbidden Droplet is also crazy good against this deck. You can use this to stop their Skull Guardian monster effect, which allows you to be able to keep playing. A lot of times they will have hand traps, but you already know what to do with those. Just draw the call by and just draw the crossout designated. Lightning Storm is also equally as powerful. If you're using Lightning Storm, getting rid of your opponent's back row is more important because they get continuous searches, protection, and they also get destruction with their good cards. Some other off-the-wall cards that are just really good against them. Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion is crazy against them if they're going the Dino Mundo route. I expect them to do the Dino Mundo route a lot more since not a lot of players are going to have access to it, so this can cook them really well. Oh, and if all else fails, guys,
just Kaiju up or Lava Golem.
Those are decent too.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
But that's everything you need to know about Voiceless Voice and how the deck works. Of course, if you want to see more amazing videos, be sure to check out these so I can catch you on the next one.